Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Dan.
I'm Spencer.
And this is the Board Game Rundown. Today we are going to talk about games we played, news, crowdfunding, Kickstarters, and we got a topic that you might find handy, right?
But
Might find
first,
useful. Yes.
make sure that you are liking, subscribing, and ring that bell so you get all of our notifications.
That's right. And also make sure you find that video that we've got for when we get to 500 subscribers. We're going to send you a copy of Edge of Darkness from AEG Games. It is a Kickstarter exclusive. It is a massive box. And it is an expensive game that could be hard to get. So we would love to send it to you for free.
Gratis.
All you have to do, free gratis. all you got to do is comment on that video, and then we will randomly pick somebody from that video, from the comments. Once we get to 500 subs, we're getting closer.
Get your friends.
We're like
Get
70
friends to do it.
So yeah,
better chance to get to play it.
share the video. Sign your parents up for YouTube accounts, and then make them subscribers.
That bell is really important, guys, because
It is.
I have a Kickstarter today that I'm going to talk about that only has 5 days left.
Oh, boy.
And this video won't even go up for 2 or 3 days. So if you don't have that bell rung, you might not
miss
get
out.
this kind of
You
stuff
might miss
fast
out.
Because
enough.
Dan
you know?
does stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he does a lot of
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that.
But don't be a Spencer. At least watch the show.
Yeah.
And then you'll know
Kidding.
what.
Then you'll know what's what.
I mean, it would help if they put good games on Kickstarters nowadays.
Oh, no,
you
see,
know?
Oh,
I don't have to
Oh.
worry about it. I only talk about
Only.
games that came out in the last, 24 hours.
That's true. That's true. That is true. So
under
let's get into some games that we played. I played
Yeah.
a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah, me
games.
too.
Same.
I played a bunch of games.
games.
I knew he was going to do that. Just the cadence in the first time he said it.
I know. It kind of just started to happen.
Right.
It started to happen.
And there was something we do to stop it.
All right, Bob. So I'm going to guess that you played the most games out of any of us
Probably.
here.
Well, I wasn't able to join you guys for your game night.
Right.
But we did play a bunch of games yesterday. We started up our Meeple meetups back
That's
up.
right.
Yes, and we did play quite a few. So we started with We're Doomed. Have you heard of that game?
I've heard of
Heard
it,
of
but
it.
not played it.
It was very interesting.
Everyone's playing a government or something.
Yeah, everybody's playing a
Yeah.
different type of government, and then you vote for, and then you're putting all these resources in, and then you can get, the president will change person to person depending on who puts in the most resources. You'll flip an event card over, and if it's like a white one, it's for everybody, and a black one will be like personal, and then you can like assign it to people, and they don't quite know what it is, but they look at it, then they have to deal with it.
Nice.
So that's kind of neat. But unfortunately, when it came around to me and an event came up, it basically squashed my what I did, because my specialty was, I can produce 3 instead of 2, and I'm like, cool, I'm just going to keep adding, because the more tokens you put in the box, the more people get to board the ship.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing that, and then it was like, you can't produce for the rest of the game.
So now your
Okay.
asymmetric power is nothing.
Yeah, is useless.
Yeah.
And the other one was you could use your produce to steal influence. I'm like, okay, well I can't do that now either because I don't have any
Right.
production. So it's like,
Wow.
okay, I'll take an influence.
So
I'll take an
remember-
influence.
remember
And
when
then
I
you could
talked
spend
about-
influence to steal from other people, but everybody was throwing all their bits in the box,
And there's
so there was
no
nothing to
way
steal.
to pay off those
Not that I knew of.
man.
Yeah, that was
remember when I
rough.
talked about games that keep you from playing the game?
Right.
Yeah.
That's an
And that,
example.
and that
of
was a
it.
card that kept me from playing the
So
game. I
that's
was like,
why
I could
you're
only
like,
do one thing.
it was all right.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
okay.
Okay.
Well, that was my thing that I talked about too. Less understandable than this extreme case, but with Euphoria, to where I had built my entire engine off of starting this one strategy, and then a card came up. I can't remember exactly how that game works, but something came up that said you can't go to that part of the board anymore.
Yeah, it was,
And it was
when
just
you
like-
didn't contribute to the building, and that building restricted you until
Got
you
it.
put a star on there.
Right. And so it completely, just because of turn order and everything, okay, my entire built engine now collapses
Thwarted.
under its own weight, and I might as
Yeah.
well not play.
So I'm gonna
Right.
quote Katie and just say play better.
Right. fair
But no,
enough.
that sucks because that's a game that
It
I
is
really
unfortunate.
enjoy.
Yeah.
Like I love Euphoria, but yes, getting locked out of certain sections of the board like that can be.
I mean, you
really
could rectify it,
harmful.
but it's a lot of work to undo
Exactly.
that.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, is working towards it. Because again, I'm not trying to justify and brag and stuff like that, but like I'm just saying, like I was clearly winning. I was playing really well,
Yeah.
and like it was almost like a runaway. And then just a tile comes up that just basically says, "Oh, that thing you've been doing the whole game no longer works. Start from scratch." And she's like, "Oh, I guess I'll try to come in third now."
Right.
You know, like it
Yeah.
just becomes a very different race when stuff like that starts happening. So
That's tough.
I can see where
That
that would
stinks.
Yeah.
that would hit you.
What else
you
you
wanna keep going? We played Quacks. Everybody
course.
was
Move
enthralled. Yeah, they were enthralled with the fancy
No
bits. Like,
surprise
we got to
there.
get this game because we had some new people there.
Oh sure.
And I was
they
like,
hadn't
these aren't
played it.
standard. Yeah, they hadn't played it yet. So it was
That's
nice to
nice.
introduce a couple of people to it. I learned Dice Throne, competitive Yahtzee, basically.
I do not like Dice Throne. I know that is not popular opinion.
Yeah, no,
Everybody loves Dice Throne.
Yeah,
just does
and I-
nothing for me.
it was okay. But in my opinion, they were talking about there's a new thing coming out for it where they're gonna do it basically co-op where you're playing through missions, and I
Right.
think that could be a lot more fun.
But that's not Dice Throne. That is a Dice Throne theme pasted on a different
Like in
game.
the universe, you're saying?
Yeah,
of
because
Dice
it's like
Throne.
Dice Throne Adventures or something.
Correct.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like if you really, it's like Cartographers takes place in the role player universe.
Sure.
So
Okay.
it's a different game in the same universe.
Well, I think you're going to use the same people and the same die rolls. It's just going to affect different things. Like
Yeah, but you got minis and you're.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
see that. He
No,
didn't
it's
say
a
anything
different
about
game.
that. Okay.
It's a different game.
The way he was describing it, I thought it was just basically going to be like a set of rules that comes out, and you can just use your stuff as
No,
a...
it's like you like these characters. Like, oh look, remember the barbarian that you loved playing? Like,
Here's a mini
your
for
barbarian.
him.
Yeah, here's your barbarian character.
Well, I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I might like that version of the
Mm-hmm.
game better. It's not the theme. It's just that I sought out Dice Throne. I bought it. I actually, the version you played, I sold to them. 'Cause
Okay.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
rid of it. I was like, I want somebody to
Play it.
that likes this game to play it, right?
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
really glad they do because
Yeah.
they seem to love it.
Mhm.
So I'm really happy
Yep.
with that because I don't want to poo-poo. I'm not going to say it's a bad game because people love that game. I just don't.
Right.
So yeah,
Not your cup of tea.
It looks interesting. I've never played it.
Yeah.
almost to the
chance.
point where it's like, just play something else.
Yeah.
Like almost.
It
dislike
did kind
that
of like
much.
hang around for a while. And I was
It
like,
can,
okay,
it
because a lot of
can.
people like were defending, and like there was the barbarian, and like they would roll and get a bunch of health back, and then like
Yeah.
there was one person playing, I think the moon elf, and I was like, oh nope, I take half damage. Oh nope, I take a half damage. It's like, just die already.
What you have to do really when it's like that is you have to take one person down
Just take it out. Yeah.
Like unfortunately, you got to like knock out the weakest player. Like,
Oh,
the
sure. You're
mo-
talking about ganging up.
Kingmaker.
Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
gang
Yeah.
up on somebody because then everything else will steamroll, right? Because then everybody else is gonna be able to focus.
because everybody's
more
trying to
damage.
be like even, take everybody down.
It'll
and then-
take
yeah,
hours
yeah.
for a game that should take 40 minutes.
Very similar problem with the Villainous.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where everything's so spread out, and then eventually it just becomes hyper focused. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then after that, I played Red Rising, the standard edition.
Yep.
And I think the bits were a lot easier to distinguish.
How'd it go over with the group?
Pretty good. Some people were a little confused. Like, when they wanted to play the card and do that ability instead of the pick up and do the ability.
Sure.
And man, like my opening hand was great. I had a card that's like, oh, if all your colors are different, you get like 31 points, and they were already different colors and stuff. I had like one duplicate. And but I played it and I had to draw 2 cards. I got another duplicate, and I couldn't play it because the guy that next to me was behind me on a track, and so I would have had to draw 2 more cards. And I would have had too many cards, probably too many colors, and I couldn't get rid of this stupid card, and it cost me 31 points in the game. But I lost by like 3 points.
Oh,
It
nice.
was so
That's still
close. It was still a close
Okay.
game, but yeah.
Did Chris win?
No, I think it was Colton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right
Colton,
on.
Colton won, and then I beat Chris, and Chris was behind me by a couple of points.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And
It was
we
super close.
will soon have a video unboxing the standard edition right there. It probably
Yep.
won't be up if you
Quite
watch this
yet.
on day
Yeah.
1, but it'll be up soon. We'll see. Close.
But you'll be able to compare and contrast between the deluxe
because
and
we
the
also
standard.
have videos on the deluxe.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And then after that, I taught some people Dune Imperium.
Nice.
Yeah, they're excited about that.
Always
And
a
that
good
was a
time.
fun game, and I thought I had it, but nope. It happens every time. I'm like,
God,
oh,
I
yeah, I'm gonna
love
get there.
it.
I know, yeah.
You always get so close.
I guess get so close, and then it's like, no. Oh,
Denied.
Yep. But it was still fun. I still had a good time. I do enjoy
Right
that
on.
game.
Yeah, that's good.
So
Right on.
that was pretty much it. Some magic, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Dan's like, and we're out.
So I played like 5 times this week the Bloody Inn.
Wow.
I played it so many times.
Okay. That's not fair, because now you're going to be prepped for our.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'll teach Jeff sometime, or Tim can teach Jeff sometimes. Then it's an even playing field. But yeah, I borrowed it from Tim because the mention of it being on the roulette as an option and stuff, it just refreshed my memory because I've been talking to Tim about playing it for a long time. And then I was just like, hey, do you mind if I take this home and borrow it? Like,
Yeah.
I would have asked regardless. And we played it, and I liked it. And then Catherine and I played it again. And then I taught it to my mom, and then I brought it to I know. And then it's just-
Teaching murder to your
She
mom.
just
Yeah.
wanted to hang out, and she said bring some like games they can play
Hey,
fast.
I
They can
love
play
that your
pretty
mom's
fast.
a gamer. That's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
cool.
Right. And then we brought it to Spencer's for game night and
Yep.
taught him as well because I thought he would love it because it has that similar 1 card is 5 different actions, choose which one you're doing with it mechanic, right? Like for me, I actually think it's kind of killed San Juan. I'll still play San Juan, but they're both, card games where you do what action you want with the cards and it does different things. And I think this
The
theme
bloody
and everything
the
is
bloody end
better.
theme is pretty fun.
It is
It
funny.
is.
Yeah.
It's
I
pretty
think
And
it's
the artwork is
different
funny.
enough.
Oh, that you can own
it's
both?
not a
that-
tableau builder necessarily
Right.
like San Juan is.
Sure, it's not a tableau builder for sure. It's just to get as much money
Yeah.
as you can by the end of the game.
And I did very poorly in the game because I didn't really understand what I was doing until halfway through, and at that point I'm like, oh, I did everything wrong. But I think if I played it again,
Spencer catchphrase.
Because of that, I came in second.
Yeah.
Because of Spencer's poor play.
I didn't win, but it's because I wasn't playing.
Also
that's true. But I think I want to play it again. I think now that I understand, I'll definitely.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
I liked it a lot. And yes, you will get to see us play that game soon.
Yeah.
I found out that Catherine had only ever played Clue once in her life.
Wow.
And she didn't remember it, so she said, I want to play Clue.
I love
And my
Clue.
first reaction was, ugh, there's so many better games that do the same thing. Oh, sure, you want to play Clue? We'll play Clue. And it was fine. You
Yeah.
know, it's
enjoyed
it's
Clue.
fine.
Was it Colonel Mustard?
It was, oh boy, testing here. It was Mrs. White in it was either conservatory or the library with the knife.
Well,
Typical.
Yeah, typical. She's always in that.
names on the side of my face,
But
Didn't she use the knife in the movie?
maybe to kill the maid.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
no, the maid
that
got
was
choked. There was
maid
a
to
cook.
choke, yeah.
The
Yeah.
cook got stabbed.
That's right.
cook
the
got
cook.
stabbed.
Oh,
Spoilers.
but you know, again,
haven't seen that yet. though.
it's a
movie
fine,
that's 35 years old.
you should watch that movie. You haven't seen it,
The movie
brought
also
it
has
up,
like
man.
5 endings.
Yeah.
So
Does.
which makes it even better.
can't really spoil. It was everyone and no one.
Yeah.
Also true.
But
Clue.
Oh yeah, it's just it's a fine game. It's a good building block. You can see how it influenced much better games that do
Right.
similar things. Even while we were playing, I was like, man, it's kind of insane how similar to Cryptid this
Oh,
is.
sure.
You
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
Like
I
when
have
you're-
Cryptid, haven't played it yet.
Oh man,
Yeah, that's
great
interesting.
game, but
Yeah.
it really is similar. You're just going around asking the questions. It goes around the
Yeah.
table, and then
Yeah.
you figure out the location. And if you're wrong, you're out of the game. And the accusation thing. But it's just I was kind of blown away with how much I played Cryptid that I've never thought about how similarly it
It
plays
is
to
to Clue.
But yeah, so we played Clue. Whatever. We played just one.
Shocker.
I always play just one when I have time. We played just one.
I got to get that game.
If you don't know what it is, go check it out. Have you played it?
I played it.
Okay, I almost brought it because
Oh,
I
I'd love to
wasn't
play it
sure if
again.
you had played it. So I almost brought it to your place, and
Yeah.
I think he said that you had played it, that he thought or something, so I didn't
Yeah.
bring it. But anyway, and then the last game you can talk more about. that
What,
I
Escape
played.
from 100 Million B.C.?
Yeah.
It's a
not
fun.
the last game.
It's a fun
The last
time travel game.
that's the
We
last
played
one that
other.
I had written down.
Oh,
and I
okay.
figured
We
he
did play
could
one
explain
other.
it
I'll
more
save
than
that
I
one
was
for
saying.
Spencer though.
Right.
So I was there for Bloody Inn. We played Escape from 100 Million BC,
10
which
million BC. 100
10
million?
million. I don't know, one of those.
From a long
No,
time
it's 100
ago.
million. You're right. It's 100 million. 10
Escape
million's
from
not
a
old
long
enough.
time ago.
100 million.
All I know is that Moses was not riding a dinosaur, so probably only like 3,000
Spoilers.
years old. But anyways, it's a fun cooperative game unless Jonathan's on your team, which then he is trying
And it's
to.
competitive.
I will no. I just decided I can't play co-op games with him because he just wants to do.
wants
You
to
played
world
it?
burn.
Yeah. No, not that one.
Okay, so
Literally, he runs into the first dinosaur and goes, "I'm gonna kill it," and Tim goes, "No."
because the whole idea is you go back in
not kill
time
them.
Yeah.
and your time machine explodes.
Okay.
And so you've got to run around, and all these time rifts have opened up. So there's people from other times that have come out of the time rifts.
Like Nietzsche.
Yeah.
You've got Abraham Lincoln could be one of them. So there's a paradox if they don't make it back, right? So there's like a paradox track, right?
Okay.
So killing dinosaurs or creatures or leaving equipment in the past is all bad.
Right.
Because it will increase your paradox
Sure.
value. And so depending on what level of paradox at the end of the game, you're going through, I mean, it is to where you have to go through the whole equipment. You got to find all the pieces of equipment, even though you don't need it, right? Like we found all the time machine bits and it's like, well, we still got like 6 cards in the equipment deck. So we got to like go through these tiles. You flip over the tiles and you might encounter dinosaurs,
Same thing.
or, right? You might encounter dinosaurs. You might find equipment, or you might have different like random encounter kind of things. But yes, Jonathan was set on trying to increase our paradox as much as possible, which was driving me nuts.
Got him killed.
Yeah, it was driving me nuts because I'm like, dude, this is co-op. We're all trying to get back and have like the best score.
I will say though, the game presents it in a way that makes you want to. Like the game basically says, you've ran into a dinosaur. Do you fight it or run away like a baby.
Or repel.
Or try to repel if you have a way to repel it.
Repelling is difficult though.
It
but
is.
but the other two are clearly easier, at least from my character's ability and standpoint and everything. But so I can see why John, it words it as a fun
Ain't no
way.
way, no baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
No one calls me chicken.
nobody calls me. But so I can see where he was coming from.
Sure.
But yeah, overall, I had a fun time. It played longer than I thought it was going to. But I had a fun time, and I just kept thinking. I know that they're not similar to each other, but there's something about the moving around the map and the story building it has, because it does feel like you're playing through a novel. Like it feels like it's a cohesive story, right? And I just kept thinking like, man, I think I'd rather play Arabian Nights than this, right? Even though they don't play anything like each other.
Sure.
Just if I'm playing like this story narrative thing,
Sure.
I think, which I'm happy because that really excites me for Smersh then. Because Smersh is Arabian Nights, but co-op like
Right.
this
Yeah.
game is and stuff. So okay, maybe I'll really like this. But
I mean,
it was cool.
It's got time travel. It's got history. It's got
Dinosaurs.
dinosaurs.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is my cup of tea.
Never play this game with Spencer, by the way.
Oh, boy.
Every 2
Don't
seconds.
read
no,
it
no,
down.
Oh my God, I love
no,
it.
that's the
You were doing it on
Gallimimus.
purpose.
He was only 3.5 feet tall. I don't know what this game is talking about.
Oh, I love it at the end.
Actually, all these
actually.
dinosaurs should have feathers.
These
Yep,
two
yep.
dinosaurs would never have met each other.
You
because
know,
they were
almost
separated by 5
there was
million
like
years.
one dinosaur in Jurassic Park that was actually from the Jurassic period. Most of them were from the Cretaceous period. This is a ridiculous movie. None of it makes sense.
This game sucks.
But yes,
You just got a window into playing the game. No, the best part was that Dan draws like the Triceratops card. And he's like Triceratops.
because we kept getting
Spencer's like,
because we kept getting dinosaurs that like I had no idea how to pronounce. So finally, on my turn, I pulled that one, and yeah, I said like Triceratopes
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
And he literally looked so mad for a second.
but well, I'm glad you guys enjoy it. It's not a game I want to play every day, but I like
Right.
busting it out every once in a while. It's a good time.
Sure, you know my weakness for time travel, man.
I like the theme. It's a lot of fun. We
I
actually
love-
had an easier go of it than I've seen
Yeah, we
most.
did.
Well, yeah, we were playing on the easiest difficulty.
good.
As a matter of fact, halfway through the game, I bumped it up
Right.
a little bit because it was smooth sailing.
I like how at the end you get to look in the book and see what happened, what paradoxes that you've unleashed changed the future.
Nice.
Or the
Right, which is
present.
another thing that gave me that Arabian Nights feel because you open it up to a certain passage depending on your paradox level, and it says you get back and this is the future you walk back into, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it gives you
That's
that
cool.
that cool
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, that's
and
fun.
I particularly love that we walked into ours because in the game it says Brontosaurus. When in reality the Brontosaurus has been renamed the Apatosaurus, and then when you go to the thing it says the Brontosaurus has been renamed the Apatosaurus. I'm like, this game is real.
This game is real.
Like, Spencer,
You didn't tell me we were playing a
This-
historic drama.
this game's been real the whole time. Now you know how it got changed. Because we wouldn't let
'Cause he left some
Jonathan kill a dinosaur. Holy smokes, that was a nightmare.
Oh,
All right,
God.
Spencer, what was the last game we played at
we
your house?
played Detective Club.
Oh, yeah, we did play Detective Club. We played that one first.
Yeah, we played that one
And
first.
how did that go, boys?
That was
I like the game.
fascinating.
I like the game a lot.
I love that game.
Tim is so suspicious. There's nothing I can say.
Totally sus.
I was only
Part of me thinks whenever he's playing a game like Dixit or Detective Club, he's blind because his cards are just terrible.
hold on, hold on. though.
card ahead.
The one time that I didn't have the word, so Detective Club, everybody's going to get a pad that may or may not have the same word on it, and then you're trying to play these like fancy,
Abstract.
crazy,
Art
abstract
things,
art
yeah.
cards, sort of similar to Dixit or,
Or
Mysterium.
Yeah.
You're going to play those cards to try to convey that you know what the word is. You're trying to trick everybody into thinking that you know what the word is. The one time I did not have the word, it was opposites.
Yeah.
And I
Oh
had
my
really good
God.
cards for it.
I wouldn't say really good, but they were definitely serviceable.
That first one though,
this
it got
bird
me.
is standing still and this bird is flying.
No, no.
Oh,
you
great.
had
Opposites.
You had opposites, and you played a giraffe next to a mouse. I'm like, come on.
Opposites!
Everyone else's cards were way better, though.
Opposites!
Opposites. That's his argument.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Opposites!
No,
if you
that
keep
was my
saying
di-
it, it doesn't,
Yeah,
enforce
I'm just
your,
reinforcing
yeah,
the truth. And actually, that was my whole defense the whole time.
Yeah. Right.
Like, because you got to go around and explain. I'm like, opposites. See the differences?
I think I was only the bad guy once, and
Bad guy? Is
I knew you were
bad
gonna
guy.
say that.
Come on.
But evidently my lie was so believable that Tim used me as an example of the
did.
good guy.
I did.
He was like, for example, I wouldn't put this on Dan right now. He was like teaching the game because he clearly knows.
Right, clearly.
I was
Clearly that choose the cards in front of Dan.
But man,
Listen, I was on Dan's side one time.
See what happens.
I will never make that
See
mistake.
what
again.
happens.
I will never make that mistake again.
it was just so funny.
And Jonathan was a GD savant at that game.
every single guess right.
Every single
he got every
guessed
one of them.
Everyone.
Wow.
He guessed everyone every time. And it wasn't like really obvious where everybody just throws. Like,
I
Yeah.
should have just watched to see where he was throwing and then just followed suit.
no doubt.
He purposely started going last because of it. It got to the point to where I think it was like the last round that Tim was the bad guy, and I voted for Tim because Jonathan wouldn't tell us what he voted for, and I said, I think it's clearly Tim, and Jonathan says, I think it's Tim, and I literally went, clearly I am right.
Accurate.
It's funny.
So clearly we enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
Club
It's great.
is a great game. Spencer, you got any more before I go into
got
mine?
Actually, quite a few more.
Okay.
So my daughter, I know, my daughter's been wanting to play a bunch of games with me, and so I played a bunch of games. Shadows in the Forest.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, it's
got
a fun
that.
one.
Yeah, turn off the lights.
Yeah, you
Yes.
got to turn off all the lights.
Wow.
And then one person has a lantern, a little LED lantern, and you've got a board game set up with kind of like photosynthesis type trees all over that are casting shadows. The other player are the little shadowlings who are hiding in the shadows. And so as you move the lantern, you're looking to see if you can find any of the shadowlings, and then the shadowlings have to move without passing into the light. And the object is for all the shadowlings to get into one hiding place.
Together, okay.
Yeah. Now I realize when I'm playing, I need to have like 6 shadowlings, and when my daughter's playing, she needs to learn what light looks like. But but we had fun. It was a good game. Then I taught her how to play Settlers of Catan for real. We've had the Catan Junior version forever, which is like pirates.
Okay.
But she's she's 10 now, so she's grown up. She's got to play the big girl one. So yeah, we play Settlers of Catan, and I need to teach her how probability works. Don't set up on the one that has a 12 and an 11 and an 8. Not a good.
Well, the 8's
place.
good.
Yeah, and then the other one's set up on a 12 and a port.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's not a port that she has.
I was like, unless
access
it's a port,
to.
you have something next to it.
Yeah, so she'll get it.
So-
I'll get her.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now another week or two, and you upgrade to Space Catan.
Oh yeah, I want this.
So how'd you play with
Starfarers.
2 people? Isn't it the 3-person minimum on that?
No, you can play with 2 people.
Oh,
In normal Catan, maybe.
I think
yeah.
so.
Okay. Well, maybe a normal. Because Space
Yeah.
one it was 3 to 4, but now it's 3 to 6 with the expanded.
I played Tainted Grail.
Of course.
Of
You're
course.
going to force yourself to
I'm
play
the
that.
Grail.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Right.
force myself to play that.
We already got one.
And then my daughter and my son, who's 5, played Omega Virus.
Nice.
That was set up when we got there, and we just
Yeah.
hear like, idiot.
Which was really just Dan in the corner.
Yeah, it's a game from Milton Bradley from '92 or something
Yeah.
like that, where
It's fun.
it's got a little
I had that game as a
computer
kid.
in the middle. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Go look for it on eBay and weep. It's got a computer in the middle. You push a button, and the space station you're on is being taken over by the evil Omega Virus, while the space station itself is like begging you to help it. Let me tell you, that guy knows how to annoy you, because you're about to push in a code, and he goes, "Help me, help me!" You're like, "Oh, I want to kill you." He's good at making you want to kill him.
You should just let the Omega Virus
you
do it
should
for you.
play that
No,
with
no,
your
no.
kids.
It's the Omega Virus I want to kill. He's the one taunting
Oh
you.
yeah, he's the one saying, "Help me, help
God.
me."
Yeah.
Also, Dan in the corner.
Right. There's this weird echo in here. Oh, it's 2 people.
So yeah, we had fun with those. I think that's it.
Okay.
So I introduced a new person to both Quacks
Okay.
and Lords of Vegas,
Oh, nice.
and then I saw them the next day, Brian.
Uh-huh.
Coswick.
do you hate this person?
And the next day, he's like, "Hey, can you bring those again?" And we played Quacks.
Oh, he's
and Lords
he's
of
a
Vegas.
masochist.
Oh my gosh, we had the craziest games of Lords of Vegas. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like everybody standing up around the table as like casinos are getting reorganized and just crazy stuff happening. Sean, my brother-in-law, he sprawled 2 times. And each time he did it, the very next card that came up was where he sprawled, and it was like on a 6, you know what I mean, or like a
yeah,
high
yeah.
number.
Mhm.
There was one thing. The first game we played, Sean, like to pull off this amazing thing, he needed to gamble at somebody's casino and win like $20 million, which he did.
I thought you could only do 5.
You can do 5 per tile in the casino.
Ah.
So he did that.
Okay.
Succeeded.
Wow.
Then reorganized the casino. Only had 2 dice where there was like some people had 3, this and that. Took over the casino, and then the game ended.
Wow.
And it was like a 8-point or a 6-point swing, something like that. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
all the tiles in the casino.
Yeah.
It was madness.
Yeah.
It was madness. It was so much fun. It was crazy.
It's a fun game.
Vegas.
It was so good. I got to play a new hot,
Yeah.
smoking hot game that I was very skeptical about. I played Marvel United yesterday.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
For the
How was
first
it?
time. It's actually pretty good. I'd like to see more of it because
There's a lot out there.
there's a lot out there. It does kind of confirm my fear, though, is that if I played it, I'd be like, oh, I kind of want to get this. But
Yeah, I kind of had the same fear.
But we played co-op. I played with my daughter. I played with Chris, and then my son played.
Sure.
He sat there with Iron Man. We just played his cards for him.
Sure.
But he was excited to be
Part of the
participating
group, Yeah.
for a little bit. And then he got bored, and then he started playing with the blocks from the Team 3.
Yeah, I saw
game.
that.
But which is fine because
Yeah.
he's happy, and we're able to play a game. But we played against MODOK. It was Ant-Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Iron Man. And it's very thematic. So like Hulk, literally, like what he does, he moves to a space and he just hits everybody while he's there. He clears everybody out. Just
Hulk smash.
Hulk smash, right? So Cap's got like a lot of like leadership stuff and given wild
and stuff.
tokens,
Okay.
wild actions to other players. But it's a really interesting mechanic. So what's going to happen is you're going to play your cards in like a storyline, okay? And so like I'm going to play a card from my hand and it might have some text, which will be like a unique to me action. And then underneath, it's going to have a couple of symbols that will tell you what your other action is. So then Dan goes, right? And Dan plays his card next to it. He can use the symbols on the bottom of my card and the symbols on his card. And so then when the next person goes, they can only use the previous person's card. And then and then the villain will get a card, like every few turns, the villain gets a card. So he moves around, hits people, triggers villains. So there's different objectives you need to do before you can damage the villain, like rescue bystanders, beat up thugs, things like that. So like I think I might just go and pick up the base version of this just to kind of have like a nice co-op family game. Like I could play with my daughter really easily. Like it took minimal coaching and I like teaching for her.
That's exactly why I've been looking at it, just a light co-op, because I've watched a full playthrough of it.
Sure.
I've seen how it plays. I like the mechanics. It just looks like it feels so light. So I just haven't decided if it's worth it.
So
yet.
I think I think that's where I was at too. MODOK was like actually kind of sneaky tough because you've got a couple of timers running against you, right? There's the villain deck is working against you. The other thing is, so the villain deck, this is interesting. So like when the villain card comes out, it basically, it almost resets the pile, kind of.
Because you can't go past that to use the
Right,
icons or whatever.
Right. So what you're going to do is you've got the cards that go underneath and they're all face up. Well, things will happen where those cards will get flipped down. So if those cards are flipped down and they're all flipped down, you lose. If you run through the whole villain deck, which isn't that big, you lose. If as you take damage, you are discarding cards. If you can't discard a card or draw a card, you lose. So there's lots of little timers in there kind of built in.
And it works like Sentinels, to where whatever bad guy you play as kind of changes the base mechanics of the game.
Yeah, a little
on
bit.
What actions you need to take and how they win. Yeah, so
Right.
Do you get to pick your heroes after the villain, or do you have to?
I think you could just
Do
could
whatever.
I
do
think it's a
whatever.
game for kids. So do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've done Legendary. Like, for example, I will use Marvel Legendary. We played one time. We tried to play Fantastic Four against Galactus and got our butts kicked. And then was like, you know what? We're going to like specifically do Fantastic. Because then we played again. We did a different team. We kind of optimized to go against some of the things we knew Galactus would do. We won very easily. And then we went back to just trying to do it as Fantastic Four.
Right.
Just to be on theme.
Right.
So Marvel United, you could do the same thing. I think you're going to find some characters are going to be more useful against some villains, just like Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Yeah.
Sometimes in Sentinels, you could have characters that are completely negated by whatever villain shows up, right?
Right.
So, but anyways, I was really glad to have an opportunity to play it because I'd been hearing a lot about it. I'd been very skeptical because I'd just been kind of angry at Simon for a little while.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was a really good experience. It was pretty positive. Other than that, we played Pyramid of the Pengqueen by
Nice.
Brain Games. That is the American
yeah.
version of Fluke der Mumie, which is an old Ravensburger game. So there's like a magnetic board in the middle, and the archaeologists are moving. They're rolling dice and they're moving around trying to get their items. You've got cards that have got items, and when you get to your item, you're gonna say, "Hey, I got this one." And then the mummy is on the other side. He can't see where we're at, but we can see where the mummy is because there's a piece on either side of the magnetic board.
Interesting.
So the mummy player's moving their piece around, and you just wait till you run into one of those explorers, and it goes click, and then because of the way magnets work, your piece just jumps to the top of their thing, so they can
cool.
stack up
So
as you
good.
move through. And it's just
Genius.
a really neat little kids game. I mean, we played twice because it plays that fast. Mallory wanted to play as an explorer first, and then play as the mummy like one time, and I will always play that game with her and my son when he gets old enough because it takes 15, 20 minutes. It's relatively easy, and there's a lot of little tension, because, it's like, oh, we
Right.
made a big deal. Like, every time, like, the mummy got somebody, we're all like, oh!
And you hear it click, too, because the mummy, I saw her. She's moving the mummy, so I went click, and you hear it, like, grab the part, and you're like, no!
Yeah. So it's fun. It's a really cute little game. I would say if you could find it, and you've got kids you want to play games with, it's a good one.
Yeah.
I think that covers it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of games we played.
A lot of games. Yeah, a lot of games.
It was a good weekend.
Well, this has been the Gorborgian Rundown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and a meetup, right? Okay, so let's just bust through news and crowdfunding pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Well, that's
I
good
only-
because I have no news.
I only have one piece of news because
Okay.
I spent all morning just reading it over and over again
Wow. Okay.
and salivating.
Ooh.
Oh.
So it has been announced a third edition,
Oh, it's not the new love letter game then. Okay.
Nope. Okay.
a third edition of Tales of the Arabian Nights.
Oh, seriously?
It's coming out.
Oh, Dan.
Wow. There
Dan.
you go.
You've called your shot again.
Yeah.
Remember?
know.
What was
Better
what
hurry up
is-
and tell you mine.
what did you, you've called your shot before. Marvel Villainous.
Well, Villainous was the big one where I said they should do, instead of Disney, they should do Marvel. That was
Right.
the big one.
You had one other one. You've
Yeah,
said.
like why isn't there a worker placement game, a deck building worker placement game or something like that? Was that the one that you called? Then all of a sudden, like Dune came out.
Dune
and
did
then
come out after
Arnak.
that conversation, but
Yeah.
there were other ones before that I just
Okay.
hadn't played, didn't realize it.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So Tales of the Arabian Nights, third edition.
Third
does it say
edition.
when?
Well, from what I read, again, I'm so skeptical because how excited I am about this. From what I read, June 11th.
Could be.
That's this week. That's like
Yeah.
Friday. or
That's like
something.
right after this
That's
comes out.
release or pre-order or what?
That is, it's only available from Z-Man's website, and it is a
Okay.
limited English-only release.
Oh my.
That's all I've seen because they were trying to do another release last year and it fell through due to creative differences, they said.
Sure. Oh.
So they're doing they basically have said we're done with this for now. We're doing a final release for anyone who wants it, and that's kind of it for now until we're moving on. And they said they might do something similar in the future, but it would be a new game with the same basic idea. They're not going to go back
Agents
to Tales
of
of the Arabian
Smirch.
Nights kind of
Right.
thing, right? But yeah, so
I'd be interested to
See
see the price
differences.
point.
Yeah, and what the differences are.
Yeah.
$60.
Oh,
It is on
$60.
Z-Man's website
That's
pre-order
affordable.
right now for $59.99.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's not too
Oh,
bad.
Dan.
So I know I'm
Gonna start working
excited.
some overtime, buddy.
I'm very excited. Yeah, I've been wanting this game forever. So it is possible I'm going to buy it from a friend instead anyway. No, just to help him out.
Oh, I know which friend.
Yeah, but we're talking about that right now. So that's all I have. I'm so excited. I literally was double checking this news forever. Like, what is happening?
Like refreshing, make sure it hasn't changed yet.
Right. Eventually, it's gonna say, "Haha, got you"
Got
on the
you.
website.
Oh.
instead.
April Fools.
It's not.
Oh no, it's so mean. You found a website article
But,
from April 1st.
Yeah, it's 2 to 6 players. It's a choose your own adventure. A lot of people wouldn't even say it's a game. It's a choose your own adventure story that you play through where you go to a location, you flip a card, and depending on the location you're in, like, oh, my city is a green square. You look at the green square on the card, 59. You go to 59. It says you've encountered an evil peasant, and then it will give you a matrix that you get to work with. So do you want to bribe the evil peasant? Do you want to threaten the evil peasant? Do you want to, and it gives you, and then you choose, and that gives you a page number saying, or a event number 2139 or something, 2139. And then the person flips that page and reads you an encounter, and based on the skills you have, you choose how you, and it's just, you just play through a life
It's
of
a
this.
choose your own adventure
Yeah.
board game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's incredible.
that.
I love this game. It plays a little long usually. Like it says 2 to 6 players. I wouldn't play it with more than like 3. Probably,
Yeah.
4 is even pushing. I would because I've done it.
Yeah.
But like 4 is definitely the top of the line.
Sure.
So
At least with 3, like everybody's involved all the time because
Right.
there's 3 different things. There's your person taking a turn, somebody with a book, and then somebody with the matrix charts.
Right,
Right.
and that's
So it
actually
keeps
the
everybody
nicest
busy.
thing about the 2-player game was
Yeah.
when we played 2-player. It's everyone is literally there's no downtime.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't have time for downtime.
You're
in a
constantly-
2-player
Wait,
game,
you know, time
so-
for downtime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's all I got, guys. I
saw some crazy news in an email.
Go for it.
So Mosaic, right? The story of civilization.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Glenn Drover wants to be on the show.
yeah. Oh. I know. He finally accepted my friend
You have to
request.
say yay!
No, but apparently some bad actors, what they're calling them, try to violate their retailer's pledge and buy a bunch of copies of the game at a discount, and they're trying to offer pre-orders to people, and they're like, be wary of who you're ordering pre-orders from because they're not going to let these people get those copies of the game.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, so like I mean, they said they assumed they could violate the program by large quantities of a Mosaic, and I want to warn people that these people will very likely not have access to the Kickstarter editions of it. So be wary if go through an
So
actual
just
store,
go, yeah,
or through them themselves,
or yeah, just find the late pledge.
yeah,
you
and
know,
get on there.
yeah.
So be careful.
Is that Kickstarter still live or is it done?
No, the Kickstarter is done. I believe the pledge manager is going to be opening.
Okay,
soon,
so that's
guys.
where they
I'm
were
looking at
getting
it.
people, right? It was like the retailer pledging.
Correct.
and
They
then
would
trying to
retail
order too
pledge
many
and then trying to
copies.
offer,
And then-
offer pre-orders.
And then they see that they're already turning around and flipping them.
Yeah,
Ugh.
not cool.
It's gross.
Yep.
It's gross.
Cool.
I hate when
bro.
someone takes something I love and just makes it bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Here's something I don't love, and
Okay.
it looks bad, but
Okay.
I'm going to talk about it anyways. So there is a novel coming out that was postponed from last year.
Oh, I did see this.
Pandemic Patient Zero.
That
Serious.
cover, man.
The cover art looks so bad.
I haven't seen it.
It looks
It's so bad. It's like cheap soap opera.
It's
Unlike the channel
comically-
of television you never turn to.
So-
like it's so bad.
I thought it was a joke when I first saw it. I did. I
I
really
don't
did.
care the idea of the book.
It sounds
I don't care about
interesting.
that
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, that sounds
But
interesting.
stories going in the pandemic universe kind of thing. That's fine. I just that picture, man.
So here's my
If
problem.
only there was a
terrible.
saying about judging books and covers.
Hold on. Though. So here's my problem with
I'm
a
just making fun
book
of it.
in the
I'm not
pandemic
judging.
universe. That is like a Michael Crichton science
Oh, yeah, it would
drama,
be.
right?
Sure, I guess.
In fact,
So-
didn't he do that already?
But I guess I just feel like a book in the pandemic, like it's not like a book in the Battlestar Galactica universe.
No,
that's
I
a
get
universe.
that. I get
a
that.
book in the pandemic universe is just a book.
I guess I can see that doing great things though, because I mean, Pandemic Legacy. Well, it's just Pandemic, and then you added a story. Yeah, and the story was great. You know,
Sure.
so I can see them making a story based on the characters from the Legacy Edition. And, you know, there are things that Legacy Edition where someone might die or something.
Spoilers,
I know,
Dan.
someone might die.
Spoilers.
Yeah, very
No
specific.
one
You're
died.
gonna
there.
No
put
one
cubes
died.
in Hong Kong. Spoilers.
But like,
Cubes?
but
Pawns?
I can see that though making its way into a story
Sure.
in that universe.
Well,
I
good,
can see that
because they're going to do a total of 3 novels so far.
Well, see that's
Three.
interesting because there's 3 Pandemic Legacies.
Right. So this one, Pandemic Patient Zero, is due to be available in September with 2 novels to follow. Also, now here's a novel in a universe, a Keyforge novel, right? So if you're into Keyforge, it looks like they're trying to put together a novel that is in that universe. So
Okay.
if you're into that, also a Zombicide novel. Also a
Is this all coming from the same
Yeah.
company or like the same publisher or whatever?
Yes.
Then
That's
Okay.
a little. It's
Yeah.
a little bit sus, actually.
a Zombicide novel?
No,
He's
they're
saying
all
that they're all
coming
coming
from
from the
one
same-
Oh,
group.
no, I don't think this is sus. I just think that this publisher is making deals with all these board game companies
Saying, hey, we'll write a story about that.
to put out different novels.
Get the IP
Yeah.
to write a novel about it so that they
Yeah.
can kind of
Because
promote.
that is the thing. There was a Cthulhu Wars novel that came out like 2 years ago.
They had Magic the Gathering novels back
Oh,
in the 90s.
yeah.
I remember that.
I used to have Ice Age comics, right?
Yeah.
Like from Magic the Gathering back in the late 90s. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not to date ourselves, but yes.
What did you say so far? Zombicide, Pandemic, and what?
Keyforge.
Keyforge.
So you got Wizards of the Coast, Simon, and then
I'm just wondering which one's going to
Z-Man.
be the most. I think Keyforge will be the most successful.
Do you think
I
that
guess.
when you get a
Probably.
Keyforge
I
think it
book,
depends on the
every
writers.
novel is going to have a different
Also true.
name and all the pages are going to be
and what the box and what the cover art looks like.
Right. Every story is different.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. What a good way to do
Yeah,
it.
that would be
But
crazy.
it still all makes sense.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
It's a choose your own adventure, but every little segment is totally different.
What
All
if you
right.
had a book series?
Okay, no.
No,
No,
this is book
here
series.
goes the rails.
What if you
They're
had a
on.
book series that every book followed a different character from the same overarching story? So your book followed a character that was related to the character in my
They do
book,
that
and
in
they
Forgotten
It's
crossed.
called Game of Thrones.
Well, okay. Well, no, it's not. But what was yours?
Forgotten Realms.
Okay,
They
yeah.
do that a lot.
That's
They talk
very
about
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
Game of
that.
Thrones, every chapter is from a different person's perspective.
Yeah.
and
Sure.
leading into
Not
a-
the same thing though as being a 24 book series and knowing
Yeah.
like Tim is getting clues to my story because he's
Mm-hmm.
getting outside information of my
Oh,
character.
so what you're saying
what
is
I'm
just reading
So,
like a
any
comic book crossover.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Sure.
That's a good idea, Dan. Someone should do that.
These
Get on
guys
it.
are
All right.
such morons. when it comes to arguing.
Has anybody
They're
here
just
played
the
Artemis
worst
Project? I gotta
arguers.
keep moving on with the news. This one
Yes,
yours? Okay,
yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
Do
so
it.
Grand Gamers Guild, right? They do Artemis Project, Endangered, Endeavor, Age of Sail. They're coming out with another one called the Artemis Odyssey.
Yes.
All right, and it's 4 generations after the Artemis Project goes. You're gonna have asymmetric factions. You're gonna be exploring out further, developing technologies and civilizations. It looks interesting. It's
Never
gonna
played
be coming out, I think, around August for the
Yes,
Kickstarter.
late August for the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Now it looks.
Sounds interesting.
I haven't played Artemis Project, but this looks like they've actually designed like a different game in the same universe, right?
Okay.
So you're playing action cards.
Yeah, it's a different kind
to
of
a
game.
shared board.
Yeah.
and it's like you execute them in sequence though. So it
Yeah.
sounds like there's like a programming mechanic
Well,
to it.
okay, yeah, because I mean, in Artemis Project, you do like you do a little bit of worker placements with your die and whatnot, and you do go like in sequence. But this does more look like a I don't want to
Not
say
a deck builder or hand man. It's more like hand management or action
yeah,
selection.
action selection, and almost like what was that? Minions, Mexit versus Minions,
Yeah,
where you
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like a programmed movement
Right.
where it
Yeah.
kind of goes
Right.
through all the things, something like that. Yeah, but yeah, it's a little bit different. It looks interesting.
Have you guys seen so Lucky Duck Games, which we just did an unboxing for Destinies, which looks really cool.
Yeah, they look really cool.
Their thing seems to be app integration in games because they've got a new one that is going to come to GameFound this summer called Divinus.
Interesting.
And so it is a legacy style tile laying game that also uses dice manipulation. And so the theme of it is it's like there's like the Greek and then the Greek gods and like the Norse gods are encroaching on each other's territories. And what is going to happen is you are heroes and you are influencing like who's going to win this battle, and then new demigods are going to arise sort of out of the ashes of this battle. And so through this game, it sounds like you play like a 12 scenario campaign, and by completing the quests, you are going to affect
How it turns out.
who ascends
Right.
to
Interesting.
rule. So, anyways, that looks neat. So we'll see how Destinies plays, because if Destinies is any indicator, right? Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we played that game and that was really good. So maybe Divinus will be really good too. So Dan, this one I thought you were going to be super excited about. So Renegade Games
Yeah.
was announced. Kay O'Neill, who did Tea Dragon Society.
Okay. Never played it.
Well, I know you love her art. They're doing a love letter, Princess.
Princess. Yeah.
Ever After. So it is a love letter based on, I'm assuming a graphic novel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's a graphic novel.
Sure. Anyways, yeah. So it's a new love letter. Based
Okay.
It
on-
reminds me
I'm
of
just
an
kidding.
anime.
Let's say it was your favorite.
I'm indifferent. I don't hate it.
So 21 tarot size cards. All the characters are actually characters from the book or graphic novel. And then there's also like 13 acrylic favor tokens coming soon to pre-order from Renegade.
Yep. Favor tokens. It's Disney villains.
Is it coming soon to
right?
pre-order? Because I thought people were already pre-ordering it.
I think you could pre-order it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, if you're into Love Letter or if you're just into Kay O'Neill, because she seems to be like the new hotness right now. As
Yep.
far as like a lot of stuff coming out with her name attached to it. I'm assuming it's female.
Wow.
Check it out. Check it out. It's there. Yeah. All right.
That's it.
Kickstarters?
Yeah. Let's go fast
got-
on Kickstarter.
I got
Yep.
two.
Okay,
How
I
you
got one.
guys?
I just got one, and it's I'm not even interested.
Go ahead, Spencer.
Oh,
Oh.
boy.
All right.
Oh boy.
I
I'm
doubt
not
you
even
picked mine.
interested.
Or if you think you did, then
Maybe.
maybe you shouldn't.
I don't know. Okay, well then I will do the one I don't think that
That I would pick.
Um, Spielworks.
No, it's
There was a 0% chance he wasn't doing that joke.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
exactly. I was already, my hand was already clenched and ready to go.
So Spielworks Games is making a game called Squaring Circleville.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to talk about that too. That
Really?
that was my backup. was
Okay.
Squaring Circleville, yeah.
This is based off of an historical event. Apparently, in Ohio, there's a place called Circleville, Ohio, that used to be based around like the spokes of a
square.
wheel.
Oh, okay.
And everyone who lived there hated it. And so they made the Squaring Circleville Society that literally just took the town apart bit by bit and turned it into a grid.
Wow.
And that's what you'll be doing in this game.
Wow. That's crazy.
Humans are very funny. Let's
are.
move
Oh
to
my
a
gosh.
circle town to
make it a
complain
square.
that it's a circle.
Yeah.
How about move to a freaking square town? You know?
Because no one wants to be in Squaresville, man.
I don't get humans, Sam.
So the cost of housing these days, you just kind of take what you can get, you know?
So anyway, it's a 1 to 4 player game. It's a limited release. I don't know what that means, but that's what it says. 1 to 4 players, you're going to be destroying the city and rebuilding the city bit by bit by using this color wheel, and you can power up yourself on the color wheel. Each color you can make yourself better, and and that gives you access to other options, other things you can do. I think they're tile actions. However, you can also power down. You can say, okay, I'm going to take one off of every one of my colors to get an extra action. So instead of only powering up, you can also trade it off. I thought that was pretty cool. And it is going for $84, and there's like nothing else. It's
Is it safe?
it. Oh, I
look at any
don't
of that.
remember. We have until June 18th.
Okay, there's time.
Yeah.
I am surprised at the price point for the pictures. It seems
It's a
expensive.
little bit pricey.
Looks like a
was,
roll and
It was in euros. So
However that
it was
translates.
$84. It was like 68 euros or something like that. So
Okay.
So do you guys like?
Oh shit!
Wow. Professional.
I was trying to make it vibrate and not ping.
It's safe.
There it is.
oh, it's safe.
The editor
is
said it's safe. So do you guys
one
like
off.
the Dark Souls or the Bloodborne board game? Well, maybe you'll like the Witcher board game. That
Oh,
only has
yeah.
Which
5 days
one?
left. It's the Witcher one. I don't
Is
know.
Witcher.
it the same people?
It's
Because I know there's
no.
already
No,
a
no,
Witcher
it's
board
not.
game
I
that's
don't
been
know.
out for a number of years.
Well, then it's not
No,
that one
it's
because
not
it's
that
not
one.
right
It's
now.
not that
Yeah.
It's by Go On Board,
Okay.
who made a game called Valhalla, which was a dice card game, and a game called Titans, which was a miniatures game.
Okay.
But yeah, it's $86 to $153. That's I mentioned earlier, a game with 5 days left. It is done on June 11th. It's a 1 to 5 player. It looks like a story-driven adventure game in the Witcher universe. It seems very Bloodborne-y, but that might just be purely look and
Sure.
the fact that it's like story-driven, quote unquote, right? But I'm not super interested because I barely have any knowledge on The Witcher, right? I saw the first episode or the first season of the show, and I played The Witcher 3 for like 2 hours. Didn't make much progress in it. It's a really deep game. Yeah, it's really
very
hard
deep.
to get into. But you know, it's whatever. It's a cool universe. The book series is well loved. The show I liked a lot. The game series is beloved. So people will probably get this game.
I'll get around to
Oh,
watching.
yeah,
it.
they'll get it.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if it's safe already.
All right.
Yeah, so you
Oh,
like The
I'm
Witcher?
Sure that one's.
Check
Yeah.
it out.
I'm sure that was funded
immediately.
instantly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got, Bob?
Not that one.
Okay, cool. You want me to go?
Go for it.
So this is an Isle of Cats has come back to Kickstarter.
yeah.
It is
Yeah.
a fun tile placement game.
Yeah.
With like these weird looking cats
Right.
stretched out in different.
It's like kitty cat Tetris on a boat.
Yeah. You're trying to cover up all the tiles on the top of your boat. This time now they've got kittens and
Okay, so small tiles.
events and all kinds of different stuff. The Kickstarter, I don't want to get too far into it because we're way behind on time.
Yeah.
But the Kickstarter does have a lot of options, so you can get different things that you like.
And
Like
depending on
nice-
what you have already or might not have already.
Exactly. It looks like there's like a pretty good insert in there. There's pins
Oh, yeah.
that if you want to get, to go with it.
It's
and
cutesy
all kinds of
artwork.
stuff. Yeah, Isle of Cats. I enjoy playing this. My wife likes playing it, so that means like that's already a point up on the rating because I can get my wife to play with me.
Right.
But yeah, so there's all kind. You've got options to get like the original game along with the early expansion stuff
Yep.
Sure.
from the first Kickstarter. So if you were curious about Isle of Cats, now's a really good time to get in there. You still got like at least a week from when this drops, and it is well funded.
Yeah, I bet. All right, so I found a World War II game that I think I might be able to get Dan to play because it's
I mean, I'll
got.
play most of them.
Well, yeah, but you might actually enjoy this one. It's got 0 luck. There's no dice.
What?
Yeah. So it's called Fighters of the Pacific. It's by Capsicum Games, and so they've got 19 different historical scenarios. You have your
I think I saw
map.
this one.
You've got aircraft carriers, and then you have different types of planes depending on what scenario you're playing. And what's cool is they have they're not minis, they're just cardboard punch outs. And on one side it's the plane with a white background, you flip it over and it's a blue background, so you're high altitude or low altitude. And depending on what altitude you're at, you can only do certain maneuvers depending on what kind of plane you're playing.
Yep.
And then when you shoot, if you're shooting at somebody that's basically already moved that turn, then you're going to hit them because they can't dodge and get out of the way. And then but if they haven't moved yet, then they can use their move to kind of get out of the way. And it looks really neat, and it's just kind of like it's pure tactical, like World War II fighting in the Pacific.
Man, if only we had somebody on this panel that really liked World War II games.
I know that they would probably really love this game.
Probably would love it.
Yeah. So yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, I almost talked about this one last week, actually.
Okay.
This looked very interesting.
Yeah, it ends. I just lost my page. It's going to end on June 24th. And
Plenty
it's,
of time.
Yeah, so you got plenty of time, and I just lost my page here too. $55 for the base.
That's not bad.
Not bad, and then up to 98 if you want all the expansions with all the
Sure.
different boats and planes and whatnot.
Cool.
Oh, yeah,
For you
looks super
history
cool. Yeah,
buffs out
yeah,
there,
yeah.
right?
Very cool.
I love how historical how accurate it is. Like,
Yeah.
oh, these planes were used in this scenario, and they were bombing this location. So those fighters are loaded out with those types of munitions, and you have to try to fight with that. And
So Spencer's got a very important question. I'm just going to
no dinosaurs.
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. That was the question.
Nice.
That was the question. Wait, Dan's got a question.
Oh crap.
I
Time travel?
assume
Well,
that the
go back in time to the World War II.
Yeah,
I
that's
assume
true.
the American planes drop missiles that just don't work, torpedoes.
Oh,
Okay, calm down.
Sometimes.
Calm down. We never did anything wrong ever in our whole history. I can't believe you would
Ever.
even imply that.
yeah.
Okay,
Anyways,
that's good.
yeah.
I don't know
Right
what they're
on.
called when you drop from a plane.
A dud. A bomb.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's not torpedo. That's water to water, right?
No, you can have.
Yeah,
You can?
you
Okay.
can.
Yeah, planes can-
air to
It's
ground
propelled
torpedo.
under the water once it hits it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
See, I don't know the definitions of these words. That's
It's
what
like
I'm
when we
wondering.
try to throw you into
Under
a
a
large
bus.
body of water
Oh,
from a
got it.
plane,
Oh.
and we
If
just
you then
hope
can swim, then you're a torpedo.
you would
Right.
propel underwater.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of them though, they'd be flying and have to get really high, and they would. They call it dive bombing.
they would
you gotta
literally-
line yourself up and then
Yeah.
just let go of the bomb and then pull away, and
Yeah,
hopefully it.
They started
hits.
doing that because the normal bombings weren't working. All the bombs were duds. So they started.
Boy,
doing
here we go.
I didn't know
All right,
that,
guys.
but
So
sure.
tune into History Channel later with these yahoos while
All
they
right.
go, I think this is how it happened. Okay, so we're going to get into a topic.
Sure, whatever. I don't
Okay.
care.
So, oh boy. Glad Dan's here today. This is a good one, I think. We're going to talk a little bit about affordable ways to get into the board game hobby. Because this can be, if you let it, or want it to be,
yeah.
a very expensive hobby.
It can be rough.
But
There are ways to do it.
There are ways to do it where you can get a bunch of games to your collection, good ones, for relatively cheap.
You know what the best way is? I think,
Avoid
in my opinion?
Kickstarter at all costs.
No, you sign up for giveaways on YouTube channels and win your own copy of expensive games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that.
Free gratis.
Free gratis. We'll
Yeah.
ship it to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, drawings is definitely one way to do it. A lot of FLGSs actually have like a used or ding and dent section.
I got a couple games from this one.
Like ours runs clearance sales every once in a while. I definitely pick up stuff then when they do that. There are online marketplaces where people are just selling their own games, where you could find, Facebook Marketplace, for example, meetups. You could have we have meetups where people trade games.
I say like cons and whatnot. They do like math trades and
yeah.
or like
My
or
favorite
trade
Sure, but if you're
tables.
brand new to the hobby, are you going to cons?
Why not?
Okay.
The giveaway.
I
You know
would
what?
not
They do
suggest
they
it.
do a lot
Okay,
of giveaways. Like
you know what?
Geekways,
Actually,
a great one to go to.
I would suggest it because
Okay.
a lot of them will give you free games just for walking in the door.
Yep.
Sure,
Nice.
that's fine.
If you go to
That's just-
CMON, if you go to the CMON convention, they give you this big bag
Of
of like
goodies.
all
Man,
kinds
I gotta
of.
do that.
Just for going.
I
just
get
for-
that.
And
I
the
just-
nice thing is that stuff, it's all Kickstarter exclusive.
Yeah,
Wow.
you could only get on the Kickstarter, or show up to their con, or go to a certain online retailer.
Yeah,
There's
anyways.
so many backs in my knife.
I know there's so many backs in your knife.
So what do you guys got? What do you guys? Some cheap ways to get into the hobby.
Have rich friends.
And get them to buy the games, and you just go to their house.
I met Bob
It's just Bob doesn't have kids.
That's yeah.
It helps.
It does. It does help.
You got cats and a dog.
Yep.
They kind of count, but not as much.
Not as much.
Man.
Cats, they clean their own behinds.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's helpful.
I just like when I first got into the hobby, I was not spending a lot of money and everything. I was very poor. I did back then a lot of my shopping on Amazon, and I have Prime, so that helps, right? But then also I did a lot of research. You do your research. What kind of game am I gonna like? What game is very hot right now? And do a Venn diagram, right? Of what game do I think interests me and interests other people and is in my price range. Like that's how I got into it. My first board game ever I think was Betrayal at House on the Hill. And I just not ever, I guess, right? Not counting Monopoly and stuff. But
like a hobby board game.
Yeah, exactly. And was Betrayal House on the Hill, and I have not turned back since. I loved that purchase. And my second one, again, just a lot of research, a lot of talking to people and thinking about stuff and looking at things. And we had a game store back then that let you just open games and play them.
Yes.
So that's nice too. But my second game was Dead of Winter. I know you're not a huge fan, but
no, but that's I mean, if you're into it, that's a good game.
Right, but like affordable game with a lot of replayability in it if you like what you're doing, right? And stuff. So yeah, I always, my suggestion for anything, not just this, but it's just do your research. That's why
be patient. I'm going to say be patient.
Which is why I'm so against, honestly, the con idea, which is, hey, it could work out beautifully. But so a second ago you said, well, you go up to the CMON booth and they'll give you stuff for free. The person watching who's new to the hobby has no idea what CMON is. What did you just say? So I think that's overwhelming.
Well, in defense of the cons, I would say it's a good place to go to try games that you can't
That's
afford
true.
and find out what you like and find, because a lot of especially Geekway that we go to, they have like big meeples with signs that say looking for players, and you can just kind of walk around, say hi, you mind if I check this game out? People are there, they're friendly, they'll teach you how to play.
Big board game libraries that you can check out board
games out and play
and learn how to play. And you can also put up a big old sign that says teacher needed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I sat down on a Cthulhu Wars game, it's
I'll teach you how to play.
Yeah. All right. Blood Rage, same thing. I did that at a con. I'll teach you how to play Blood Rage. I lost. It was fun. No, I get what you're saying, but I think that what you need to do is sort of a combination of what Dan is saying and what Bob is saying, is that you do research, but some of that research is just getting out there and playing games.
Sure.
Go to your game store, ask questions.
You can't know what mechanics you like until you have played them.
Go to your game store, find out, see if you got some local meetups near you or game groups, right? Get it. Hang out in game groups. I mean, how many times do we play games where it's like, I don't love this one. Here, you can have this. Sure. I mean, you're going to have people that will happen.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you're going to always have to depend on the kindness of others. But I will say though that just being out there opens yourself up to opportunities. Yeah. And you're going to see a lot, open yourself up to a lot of different mechanics and see a lot of different kinds of games. And you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can get into it. Don't shoot the moon, right? I mean,
sure.
Don't expect for a really nice black box version of Glory to Rome to just fall into your lap, right? If that's a game you're trying to get cheap,
right?
Set a different goal.
Sign up for a drawing.
Yeah, no doubt.
What I would say, Kickstarter, yes and no, right? So once you're kind of more familiar with what you're doing with games, then you can kind of look at Kickstarter and be like, okay, I like these mechanics, I like this theme, this could be good, and it could be a cheaper way to get it. Yeah. Because just for example, the War Room, right? Retail that game is going to be $200, but if you like war games and you can sign up for the Kickstarter, you can get it for $130 some, and that's it's a big discount on the game. For sure. And not all of them are discounts. Sometimes you end up paying about what you pay in the store, and you're just kind of waiting for it and whatnot. But it is a way that through research and whatnot and knowing what types of things you do like, you might be able to find something for cheaper.
And I would also just say be patient.
Because
patient. Sometimes you're going to see a game that you really love and it's out of print and they're going to charge you through the nose for it. But if you wait a couple weeks, sometimes, you know what? Hey, a third edition of Arabian Nights is just coming out. So instead of dropping, $150 buying it from somebody online, you just get it for retail price.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's way better.
History of the World. Yeah. I looked high and low for that game forever. Finally, I found it, and I didn't pay a lot, but I paid more than retail.
Sure.
And then like a year later, they released. Now the 3rd edition is ugly, so I'm kind of glad I got the one I got.
You got the one you got the edition you wanted.
Yeah.
But it has happened, right?
It does happen.
Where it's
Yeah.
like, well, like taverns, right? Didn't you buy taverns from overseas?
I did.
And then like a month, not even a month later, by the time it
By
arrived,
the time it got here,
it was published
here
in the
anyway. It
United
probably came on the
States.
boat with all the other copies for
Right.
But I didn't pay an obscene amount, so
Sure.
it's not like it's
Yeah.
just like I bought it and I had to wait. Where then you were able to walk in like basically the same day and be like, okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So
Well, I did ask the store, like, hey,
Yeah.
can you get a copy of this game in? Like, it's going to be good.
Right.
Like,
Which-
I want one.
Which
We
I
can
think
get one in.
goes into, I think, one of the greatest things, which we've kind of hinted at throughout. You've heard it mentioned a lot, is if you're kind of getting new into this hobby, you kind of find what you think is your best friendly local game store, the one that, you know, the staff is the nicest, they
Yeah.
seem knowledgeable and stuff, and become close
Yeah.
to them.
Getting good with them.
Like, yeah, I'm not even saying like try to be best friends and hang out with them, but like they have the information on
the
the
access.
games, yeah, and the access, and getting to know them and just talk to them about, you know, what worker placement games. Name some worker placement games. Why does that mechanic work like that? You know, like if you literally know nothing, you're just starting to get into this hobby, that is your best in. You can do. I always suggest doing your own research and stuff, but there are certain things where you're just literally not going to understand what they're talking about anymore, and that's where the local store comes into play. That's their expertise. They will talk to you. We were very lucky to have an older gentleman, super nice guy named Dave that just sat and talked to us for hours about what he liked about the games. And like I said, in his store, there was just a shelf of games, like good games, not just super cheap ones, good games where he was just like, oh, you're kind of interested in, you know, I don't know, I'll just say Pandemic because it's super popular. Oh, well, open it up, play it, and if you like it, you can buy it. If not, put it back, try a different game. You know, like, and you learn so much at your local
You know
stores.
what's funny is that that store exactly, again, get in good and get to know them. I just sent my in-laws. They were like, "Oh, what does Tim want for Christmas? What's a good game we could get him?" And I said, "You know what? If you go to this place and you ask them, they know me."
Oh, yeah.
And I got Concordia for Christmas. And I was like, "This is one of my all-time favorite games."
Very
But
nice.
but he knew that I love Concordia, and I was always like, "Oh, I need to buy. You know, eventually I'm gonna have to buy this game." Blah blah blah. But he also knew the kind of games I liked.
Yep.
So they also like recommended another game, and you know, so it all worked out really well. And plus, it just builds a community, right? So you're developing these relationships, you're building these relationships, and who knows where they go.
Right.
So yeah, local game stores is a really good pipeline for not only information but experience and knowledge.
And access, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they often have a regular game night you can go to,
Yep.
which
Yep.
gets you in with not just the people who run the store, but with other people who are
Local
in the
community.
hobby who can help you learn about it.
Right.
I met both these guys
Yeah.
at a local game store.
The
The
game,
same
probably
one.
the same store we're talking about.
the
Yeah.
same one.
Or start
Actually,
a YouTube
that's where I
video.
met Spencer.
That's actually where yep.
We all met. Well,
It's funny.
Bob and I met separate, like
separate, long time
100
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
But
Thanks for
you
telling
got
everybody.
this whole side of the table, like
Yeah.
over. Know us through game stores.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So I mean, the
funny.
places you'll go.
And I
Yeah.
also wanted to point out a lot of restaurants, particularly family restaurants, will have just a section of board games stuffed away somewhere, and everyone that I know of, they don't even look twice at it. They often have fantastic games in there, new games.
They
games-
can. They can.
They can.
They can.
They can. So look at
You
them
don't know if you don't
because-
look.
Exactly. And the reason I bring this up is because sometimes when they have good games in there, it's because a group meets there.
Yeah.
Ask people.
Yeah.
They might be able to get you in.
Yeah.
So I guess the community is the best way.
Community
overall.
is a
Community
really
is
great
the best way.
Yeah.
The best way.
Or
And
convince your sister to buy it and then come to her house and just play it.
And
Your
again, I
copy.
or
mentioned
convince
this-
your friends.
I was going to say, I
Yeah.
mentioned this at the beginning. Be friends with Bob.
Yeah. Helps.
And
And
yeah,
I-
it helps. Yeah.
Wish people want to be
You'll
friends
get
with
over
me.
all the
Yeah.
negatives and you'll,
It's a lot of cons.
You'll
but
get
one
access to a
pro.
lot of games.
Yeah.
You'll never win a game,
It's fair.
Right.
but you'll have fun playing.
Unless
That's
it's
right.
Dune Imperium. In which case,
In which case I'll be so close. Yeah.
That victory's gonna feel so good.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm
The
sure.
best
I'm
part-
sure it was delicious.
The best part is when I do beat Bob, he's like, "Wait a minute, that can't be right."
Yeah,
Yeah.
double check
I
that.
gotta recount.
Recount.
Yeah.
That doesn't look right. But yeah, it's not hard to get into the hobby. You just gotta be patient and just use a few of those tips. A lot of like saving and money and still like building a pretty good collection is really just going to come from building really good connections with people in your community.
Yeah, and again, never just blindly do this. Do your own research. I can't say that sense enough, but the BGG top games exist for a reason.
Yeah.
Check that stuff out and
true.
see what people are talking about. What is the hotness right now, and what are the top 10 games ever made according to BGG? That is a giant board game community all coming together and voting, and that does mean something. They're not all going to mean something to you. You know, Gloomhaven might still be number one. You probably shouldn't get that as your first game, you know?
I want to give a caveat on that one because the hottest games are going to be the most recent. Doesn't mean they're
Which
the
is
best.
why I also
Called
said
the
look
new.
at the top 10 and everything, right?
Yeah.
The hottest tells you what is being talked about right now, right? Obviously, and then the top 10 is like of all time and stuff like that, right? And it's not just top 10; they have the top like 50,000.
Yeah, I think like every game is rated.
There's a lot.
But like, look at those. Pay attention. That website is huge.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
for knowledge. Yeah.
And I don't think you have to have a huge collection of really rare board games to be
Yeah.
considered in the hobby.
Right.
Correct.
Honestly, if you've got a nice little stack of games and you're happy with it and you can get them played and it's
Yeah.
something fun you can do with your friends, you're already winning.
Man,
Yeah.
I
You're ahead of the
remember Levi and me were the ones that got into our hobby together. We kind of just were like, let's just start buying board games and stuff and getting into this. And we have a picture, I'm sure I can still find it, of our entire collection stacked on top of each other. And it was probably like, 6 or 7 feet tall. And the bottom half of the stack was just talisman and expansions,
Nice.
But still, like, we were so proud of that
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then, Like, man, look at these awesome games that we play all the time and they're fun. Like, yeah, it's you don't need this madness. You'll get there,
It'll
You'll
happen. Give it time.
I like having my madness. though.
Sure, you'll like it once you have it, yeah. But it's
I
not
need to
like don't immediately chase
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
I need to go get more shelving for my madness.
Yeah. My collection has been built up over the last 6-7 years easily.
more
right?
than that.
Yeah,
I'd
probably
say
not.
probably 10.
Oh, yeah.
close to
Wait a
10.
minute. Because Mallory was a baby.
Yeah.
So, yeah. More like 10.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
Time flies.
It does.
But, yes. So, what suggestions do you guys have? What are some of the things that have helped you get into the hobby, hopefully relatively cheaply
Yeah.
and affordable? Because it can be expensive, but there's easy ways to do it. But anyways, let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe to videos, like Bob said, because if you don't, he's going to keep saying it every
I will.
week. Every week. Don't forget, we're also giving away a copy of Edge of Darkness. You just got to comment on that video and be a subscriber. We will randomly pick somebody from the comments. And also, don't forget our friends over at the Miniatures Rundown, sort of also under the Game Talk Network umbrella. They do several shows a week, Weird Mini of the Week. They paint stuff. Our producer, editor, Jeff, is on there, sometimes co-host. He's on there pretty regularly, popping in, annoying CJ, which is
Yeah.
always fun to watch. And then always check out our good friends at the Board Game Mechanics. They are pretty okay. I guess pretty okay friends. I said good friends. Right?
Yeah,
Pretty okay
pretty okay.
friends, right?
It's some pretty okay advice on board games.
They're kind of mean, but
Well, just
you.
you. Specifically Dan.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy the Dan hate,
Yeah.
or actually if you think they're wrong for some reason, go over there and tell them that they're wrong, right,
Yeah,
Dan?
say be nice to
sure,
Dan.
good luck with that.
Be nice to Dan. Hashtag don't.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, they've got their own YouTube channel. They also do a weekly podcast that drops like Thursday night. I usually listen to it on Friday mornings. Dan usually listens to it like 3 weeks later. And Spencer
Correct.
Bob never listens to
What?
it.
No, I listen to it Fridays.
Oh, you do listen to it Fridays? Spencer doesn't partake in
get
any.
into it.
He doesn't listen to anyone.
Spencer
He can't
doesn't
even
do
hear us right now.
any media. Yeah, he doesn't even know this is happening.
Yeah. What's media?
He's like dinosaurs. And strangely, the smartest one sitting at this table. But anyways, so thank you guys for watching. As always, I've been Tim.
I've been Bob.
I've been Spencer.
And this has been the Board Game Rundown. We'll see you next time.
That
Serious.
cover, man.
The cover art looks so bad.
I haven't seen it.
Thanks for checking out the Board Game Rundown. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share our videos on social media and spread the word. We publish new content weekly, including reviews, unboxing, and Let's Plays. And as always, thanks for watching.